All right. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're seeing this in the world or later on recorded for the internet. We are so excited as Smartcat to welcome you to our webinar on discovering Smartcat AI for learning content. I'm Tyler Fujishin. I work on our enablement team here, and I'll be some of your hosts today, but we have an all-star cast for you, including Taras, who's running all of the product, the brains behind everything you're about to see, and Sonia, one of our sales experts, solution engineer, sales architect. She does it all, and we're going to show you something that we're so excited about that we've been working on for a while. But before we dive into everything that we're going to do today, I want to just run through a couple of housekeeping items for us. We're going to actually show you the demo of everything that you've seen in the emails that you've heard about, how to create learning content in a snap. We're going to show you what that looks like, and we want to actually do it live on this webinar. So if right now you could jump into the chat and give us some topics, something that you would love to see a piece of learning content or a course about. And if you could make it general, something that would be applicable to all of us that are here on the webinar today. But we'll be scouring through that chat, and by the time we hand this off, we'll be able to actually use one of the suggestions that were given right now at the beginning of the call for the demonstration. Throughout the webinar, you're probably going to have some questions, everything ranging from high level, what is this, how does this work, to some of the more technical pieces. We'd ask that for this webinar, you use the Q&A function so that we can track those. Some of them will answer in the chat. Some of them will answer live on the call here today. But those are the two pieces that I wanted to give everyone a heads up so that they could start working on right now. And then after we see the demo, we'll have Taras come on and do some Q&A, explain some of the science behind the magic that you're going to see as we build this. And then at the very end, we have a little bonus AI training opportunity for you. I don't want to spoil all the fun with that, so we'll save that for the very end. But before we dive into that, I want to talk about why are we here. You know, Stephen Covey has been attributed as saying that our people are our most valuable asset. And part of what we think he means by that is that our people and their knowledge are some of our company's most valuable assets. And that creates, you know, a lot of great learnings. We have L&D professionals on here. You know all about this better than most, but you also know some of the problem that comes with that is that we have this challenge, is that content is disaggregated across the organization by teams, the complexity levels that each individual team has. Things are always changing. By the time it feels like that we roll out things, they can already be outdated, and we're right back to the grind, creating another one. And things are scattered across all types of silos, organizations. I'm preaching in the choir here. You know this challenge better than most, but that's part of why Smartcat exists. And you probably know us. We're famous for doing the language, the translation side of things, how we can take any content and put it into any language. What we're excited to showcase for you today is how we're doing the next level of serving all of you in the L&D community. And that is by how do we take information and turn it into a piece of learning content in a snap. And then, of course, because we are Smartcat, we can also translate that learning content. So this is going to give us access to all of the content throughout our organizations, tap into the richness of that knowledge, the most valuable asset of our people in our SMEs, and be able to crank out in minutes and hours what used to take weeks and months. So before we jump into this next portion, I'm scouring through the chat here to see what we have. We have some ideas in here. And I think Miss Sonia is going to be the final deciding factor on which of these. Oh yeah, we've got some great options in here. Let's see, leadership, change management, workplace safety, technology. Okay, we are in a good spot. So, you may have seen this crazy character on the waiting screen while you were waiting to get into the webinar. This is from when we unveiled this product. when we were at the ATD conference in New Orleans, and the team dressed me up as a chef. Why? Because we wanted to invite that question of why do Smartcat people in chef outfits? Because we are cooking up learning content on demand. And so we did a version of the same thing with our team there. I was running around with a notepad taking orders for any course for anyone. And then we had our team live in the booth create those courses in a snap. So that's a version of what we're going to be showing to you here today. So without further ado, I will hand this over to Sonia.
Yeah, great. Thank you for changing that up, Tyler. And that was a great presentation to get us started. So I'm really happy and excited to show you how to really cook up that learning content in a snap, just like Tyler said. So welcome to Smartcat. I'm sure many of you have seen our platform before, maybe a few you haven't, but it's really a great place for you to have all that information that Tyler mentioned might be siloed around within your organization and really develop a course that's going to be useful and able to be utilized with everyone within your company. So I can navigate to our drive where you're really able to host all that content, that good, one pager, compliance documents, or just really any information you have and generate a course directly from that. So I apologize, I left my chef's hat at home, but hopefully we can still make do with creating a pretty good course for you all. So yeah, looking in the chat, it seems like there are a few of you that are looking into leadership and maybe how to become a better leader and enable your team. So I think that's a pretty good topic that we can all learn from. So let's see, with a few prompts, we'll do, what will the course be about? Maybe building credibility as a leader and gaining the skills, I'll copy and paste that there, gaining the skills you need to lead organizational growth. I think that, again, a very relevant topic to everyone on the call. And the course participants, maybe they're new leaders who really want to help their employees, and grow in their careers. So I'll put that in there. And I do like to point out, right, we're not expecting you to be AI experts, prompt engineers in any way. We can really use that natural language that you and I know, colloquial terms, company specific terms, and get a great quality course kind of right off the bat. And I'll say, this is a 101. This is a no learning, no knowledge is required, excuse me, for the course. It's kind of as easy as steps 1, 2, and 3. On our platform, you're also able to use that company-specific, proprietary information, whether that's PowerPoints your SMEs send you saying, hey, make a course in a week, whether that's, internal documentation, terms, and anything that you have that's company-specific. Or if you just kind of find a nice document online that you're like, this is pretty cool, it'd be great to include this in a course for my employees. I think that this would be super helpful. You can drag and drop a PDF in there. So I actually have a quick one on leadership right now that I'll upload. It's a nice 14-pager on the best practices for being a leader. From here, of course, we're able to choose a type of course we want to make, whether that's a microlearning anywhere from 10 to 60 minutes long, or really a fully fledged course for 4 weeks, 10 hours a week. That's all completely up to you here. I'll start out with a nice 40-minute course just for the demo purposes. And as this is loading, I always like to mention that you're going to have full ability to edit, customize, adjust anything you make here to your needs, to your, company-specific terms, whether you want to bring people onto the platform, which I'll talk a little bit about later. But we're going to learn from all the feedback you give us. So whether that's, completely rewriting the course description that we're going to make, or making adjustments to tone of voice, to, who you're going to have as be that end user, we're going to learn from you. So the first course you make is going to be amazing. The second course is going to be even better. So I'll let that load for a bit. But yeah, I'm happy to show you actually what that PDF looks like. Let me share my screen. While that loads in the background, what a great switch. So this is the PDF I found, right? 12 Principles of Great Leadership. You can really see it gets a full depth, full breadth of information here that as a human, you're able to look through this and pull out key pieces of information, but we're using AI to hopefully make that process a little quicker and a little more efficient for you. So now that that's loaded, I can go back to this page and really show you the benefit to this being your sidekick as you're creating courses. So maybe I really like the way that this last sentence is phrased, but the second to last sentence is my favorite. I can always go ahead, delete, edit, change anything you want, like I mentioned. And we are an AI company. We like to leverage and give you the tools to make you as efficient as possible. So say, I want to make this more casual. I want to prompt the AI to really fit it in with my tone of voice. So make this more casual. Excuse my spelling. Um, we're going to be able to regenerate again based on tone of voice and learn off all the changes you make. So once that's regenerated, as you can see, it's going to live there. We're going to get, a kind of more casual course that we've created. From here, we're really going to get to the crux of what it is to be an instructional designer and to give you a great course for your users, and that's generating those learning outcomes. So this is a great spot where I always like to say, we're an open seat platform. We want you to invite as many people with all their breadth of knowledge onto the platform to create the best course for your users. So no more siloed knowledge from the engineering team and the product team or this SME who doesn't communicate with that SME. Invite them all onto the platform. You're able to have them kind of take a look at all the steps that we're going through now to make sure that, again, you're getting the highest quality and the most eyes on the project as possible, all while kind of having a centralized spot. So you're not slowing down, pinging an email, tapping someone on the shoulder, sending them a Teams message saying, hey, would you mind? It's kind of all in this one place. So as soon as we are happy with the learning outcomes, I've taken a minute to review. I've, invited Tyler and Taras onto the platform to really give them their 2 cents into the thing. We're going to be able to generate that structure for you here. And this is really where I like to highlight that this is here to enable you, make you quicker, make you more efficient, allow you to leverage all the information you know as an instructional designer or a subject matter expert, or enable your team members who are going to be the ones actually handling this to get the outcome kind of as efficiently as possible. You can see here we have all the blocks that we're going to ultimately have in the end content relating to the learning outcomes we created. And we're also going to give you full flexibility into how you want those end users to consume that content, whether that's via an accordion here, maybe I want a flashcard, a video, and then kind of wrap up this section 1 with a nice quiz. Great. And then hopefully this is all going to leave you with a little less headache of having to pick through and structure it and restructure it, reorganize, and actually generate the content here. And finally, kind of the piece de resistance, the end goal of this entire thing is we're actually able to create the content for you right here. So I'll go ahead, generate a nice little accordion on the, integrity as a bedrock of leadership. It's as simple as pressing that button with a lightning bolt, that magic lightning bolt of AI. And in a matter of seconds, you can see we're building everything out for you. So we can do that for the accordion, we can do that for flashcards, for the videos, all of that is going to be able for you to press that button, give it your once over, bring in that SME to give it their once over, and really get a fully fledged course that can be, leveraged by everyone within the company. Of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that we are a translation company. That is what we started as. That is definitely still, something that we find super valuable. So make the course in English, that's great. But for the people who maybe don't have English as their first language, or you have different departments of the company existing in Japan or, Bolivia, let's say, you can always translate it up here kind of with the snap of your fingers. Just as quickly as you're able to translate other things within our platform, you can translate the full course from start to finish. So for sake of the demo, I can go through and I'm able to, build these out one by one, but I actually did pre-cook something up for you all. It's just coming out of the oven now, and it's a quick course on, the agile essentials for project management. So leadership is great. This is also a great thing for your users to consume. But you can see we have our lovely AI.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Agile Essentials. As we begin our journey into flexible project management, we'll contrast the traditional water.
And again, in a matter of minutes, just as quickly as you saw me make those flashcards, which I'll show you here, what those kind of look like, the accordions, the quizzes here. Cross your fingers, I got the answers right. We're really able to take that siloed information, those 1 pages of compliance, kind of all that information that has such good knowledge for your end users. And in a matter of minutes, hours, days, create a course that is good for your entire company to leverage and gain that information from. So hope I didn't talk too much, talk too quickly, but happy to pass it back to Tyler and ultimately answer any questions you have, because I'm sure there's a few popping up in the chat.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for running us through that. It's so fun to see it go from just an idea all the way through to actual pieces of learning content. And part of what I forgot to mention on the front end is that because we're leveraging AI, this is actually going to get smarter as it goes. It's learning from some of those edits like Sonia showed us, and it can be tailored Like in this example, we had one PDF that we grabbed that was applicable for, and I think I saw some questions in here. You can build out an entire library with everything that you have. So all of those courses that have been designed so beautifully and meticulously that are maybe sitting on the shelf, you can leverage that as well and have the system pull from all of that as it's creating the course. So thank you again, Sonia. We have, let me pull up our slide deck here so that we can see. We have we have Taras here to talk about our, actually, my apologies. I'm still figuring out all of the intricacies, the funness that Zoom has to offer for us here. Taras, let me give you a minute. Can you talk to us about some of the vision? Like what drove us to build this product? What was in your head? And run us through that. And then we have a few questions that are popping up in the Q&A section that we'll go through afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely, Tyler. Thank you for giving word to me. So I'll try not to be boring after such dynamic presentation by Sonia, but I want to emphasize two things. So we're really focusing on knowledge transfer, helping to transfer knowledge in the corporation and the world. And there is two things that were important for us. First, there is a science behind the knowledge transfer. Yeah, and we use all these cutting-edge approaches, instructional design, pedagogy, andragogy, testometry, all the side behind the scenes, and the team that doing it have provision experience of creating hundreds of courses for the universities, for the companies, for the Coursera, being a Coursera partner. The second thing, we understand that learners are different. So this thing that we're calling cultural and diversity engine is part of our core. We are not only translating the courses, we are adapting the courses to the different segments. For example, how to reshape the courses for the housewives from the Texas. So this is also very important, and I'll be really happy to answer your questions or dive deeper of any of the topics. Please ask. Thank you. That's all for now.
Awesome. So I'm going to start going through the questions that we have right here in the Q&A section. Taras, if you can't see them, let me know if you need me to repeat anything. But Jesse asks, how does Smartcat ensure security of proprietary information? How is this kept out of the general training of the LLM?
So we are not using our customers' documents to train our LLMs. This is the first thing. The second thing, we get a provision mechanism to screening the documents for the personal data for some corporate issues. So we just won't let you to create the course that will contain some personal data. So two things. First, non-using data to train our neural networks. And second, screening the materials you provide us. Is it safe to create the course from them?
Yeah.
Yeah. And to note on that also, sorry, Tyler, I was going to say security is top of mind for everyone. And it is certainly top of mind for Smartcat. We're never going to take your information, spread it around. It's all isolated. All the data is, encrypted in transit at rest, all those things you can imagine. We do keep security top of mind.
Absolutely. And so I see some questions that are also popping up in the chat, so I'll try and stay on top of both of them. But we had a question in here from Matthew. Matthew says, this looks like an all-in-one platform that goes from raw content to SME reviews to course development. Where does the course ultimately reside? Is it in my LMS or is it on Smartcat server?
So we are content authoring solution. We are not learning management system right now. So we can export the content that you can put to your learning management system. And right now we are doing also integration for the popular LMS with the push of a button. You can just publish the course in your LMS without export and importing. So your LMS is needed.
Great. And so we can just push that into the LMS. That's incredible. There's a related question on here from Dennis that asks, is it possible to change the finished videos afterwards with prompts once we've spun it up?
We're working on it right now. So actually, you're working with two things. First, you are creating the text part of what will be in the video. You're working with them, and then you create the video. And we are integrated with some of the most popular avatar providers like Thinteasy, HeyGen, and you can create your own avatar and replace it, or you can just change avatar and voice you need it. Yeah, so here we try to reuse everything that in the space and to do it efficiently, focusing on the understanding how to transfer the knowledge most effectively.
Excellent. We had another viewer ask, like, do we have social learning incorporated, as in getting feedback from learners and reviews?
I want to split this question for the two parts. First, you can create the content and assignments and activities that will be optimized for the learning in group. For example, even for offline learning, you can create set up special type of assignment that you need to do offline or do some kind of discussion. But right till now, as we are not delivering the content, we are only creating it, you should include this instrument inside your learning management system to get this kind of the feedback.
Excellent. And I see a couple questions that have been asked in the chat and in the Q&A about how do we get clients? Can somebody provide a little bit more depth to that question of what you're looking for and how it relates to what we're spinning up here? We'll be on the while that's coming in. We had another question about the data and knowledge of my company residing on our servers. How do we ensure the safety of company-specific information? I think we addressed that in part already. Anything else we'd like to add on top of that?
I think no, just following the compliance and not using the data without the permission. This is the core.
Excellent. And then we had another question. What types of files can be used for source material in addition to Word, PowerPoint, and PDF?
So right now we're working with text files, but what we are planning for the end of this year is working with the audio and video recordings of your meeting. So you have the meeting, 2 hours, you want to create the learning material or training from that, boom, you are done. So it's in the work right now. I think you will meet it in the Q4 this year.
Excellent. And when it comes to things like licensing and copyright, Jason was asking, what kind of responsibility do we have when we feed different content in, such as PDFs, to make the course?
Here we are sharing responsibility with our customers. So we really think that if they get some PDFs, they get them legally. Yeah, because we cannot control everything. It's a corporate solution. And if you bring something to us, for example, a book or materials, we hope that you're not steal them or something like that. Yeah, so we're sharing this responsibility to you. Our responsibility is when we find something unusual that worth telling you, we'll give some information. Okay, we think this document contains personal data or something like that, but then you decide, you as the user, you're the owner of the content. We are only helping you to reshape this content to knowledge.
Mm-hmm. And Penny has asked a few questions in here about, she said, I think Sonia created a RISE course in the demo. I'll let Sonia speak to that in a second. If we do that, can we get a copy of the course because our LMS team would not allow others to access them?
So speaking about the RISE, and I also see some question about, oh, it looks like RISE. So we really see that Articulate RISE is a good product, and the 100,000 of users using it, they are having some experience. That is why when we were thinking about how we visually represent it, we really were inspired by Articulate RISE team. We're moving forward right now, but we think they're doing the good product. That is why the output results is look like Articulate RISE. They just good in that. It's first thing. Second thing, actually Smartcat as a solution, Smartcat translation have ability to translate Articulate RISE courses, and then you can export your translation back to Articulate. This is other important part of the product. But speaking of the results core files, Articulate just don't have any import ability. So you cannot import even Articulate course back via the SCORM file to the Articulate, because they have the approach that you can, everything inside, you can just export, but you cannot import nothing. So something like that.
Excellent. And Mega says that my company has brand guidelines. We can only use those colors and images that reside in our brand house. Can Smartcat generate courses that match the brand guidelines?
Mhm. In September, we'll be having a release, adding this design and theming opportunity, changing colors, fonts, logos, all the stuff. We're working hard on it just right now to deliver it to you to the early September.
Yeah, and I also want to point out one thing that I love about working, within SmartCat and with Taras particularly is we are really loving your feedback and loving the kind of the tips and tricks you get and constantly working on the product. So, over the past few weeks, we've added tons of more languages, tons of more, content types and all of that. So it's constantly growing and evolving, which is something I do like to point out. So it's exciting to see how it goes in the future.
Absolutely. A couple more questions still flying in. Feel free to keep us going. We love this, being able to dig into it. But Matthew was saying, like, taking source material from a video, that'd be awesome. Could we point to a website and use SmartCat to make a course from that material?
Right now, it's not on our roadmap because we saw some products that doing the site extraction in a good way, and we're still choosing the partner here. Yeah, so we understand. Okay, partners for the video content creation. Synthesia has another stuff. We're working with leaders. We're still searching who could be the our partner for extraction information and composing for the site. And if you have someone that you're working, or if you have some specific request for that, let's dive deeper in understanding, because it's really not trivial to understand how to create the information from site, course from site, and what actually you want to pull from here. Let's dive in and discuss.
Very cool. And then we had another question about saying, so if you're using Synthesia for talking head type videos, can we edit it through your tool, or will we need a Synthesia license separately and specifically to edit the spoken verbiage and if we want to change the character speaking?
Mhm. Actually, you can do both. If you are using, you can use the Smartcat Fintea that included to Smartcat, and then we will be billing you for using video abilities. But if you said, "Oh, I have the library of my avatars, it's my account," you can just attach your account using API key, and we will use your avatars, and then Synthesia will be billing you separately for everything that you're doing directly through the API, but from Smartcat.
Very good. And then Aiden asks, can you talk more about translation? How many languages are covered, and does it use a specific translation engine or LLM?
Speaking about translation, so one of the main expertise of Smartcat in the field is actually the translation. And as I'm a guy working more with the knowledge transfer, I can just tell some general things about it. What I do know, first, they have bunch of we have bunch of our own translation engine. First, and we have own flows and mechanisms how to validate this translation with the real life humans. And the second thing, that we are using the data from your company that you're giving to us to improve this translation. It's called translation memory. So the more and more detailed you do the translation, the more quality text will happen then. So I think really with Smartcat you can have best in the world experience in translating the content and also the courses to the different languages.
Yeah, and to add a little bit onto that, like Taras mentioned, we leverage a ton of different LLMs and really can pick the one that's best suited for you, your company, and also the language pair. So depending on the source and target language, we'll choose the best engine. And like he mentions, and this product, the course creator, and then also just our entire platform in general, we're constantly learning from you. So any adjustments, any edits you make, they're going to be utilized in the coming days, months, years, and all of that. And we're constantly getting better and growing off what you input.
Excellent. And Trust, thank you for being in the hot seat too, while we're just throwing questions at you. We have another one. Paul asked, is it possible to limit the RISE components to only use ones that meet WCAG standards?
Uh, So you are talking about, I think if I'm get the question right, we are talking about supporting persons with disabilities, with the vision, with all the other stuff. So what we are also preparing to our release later this year is supporting the stanton that you mentioned and to all of the elements. So we are right now in support not all the RISE elements. We are focusing on these elements that we can recreate in us and give ability to get the content from it, not only from vision, but to hear the content. So actually, the short answer is yes, but it will be done in Q4, and we are extremely interested in cooperating with someone that is who is really needed. So please reach me, reach Tyler. Let's discuss it more details, because giving equal ability to learn to everyone disregarding of their disabilities is really important for us.
Yeah, and to note one more thing, I know there was a mention of Rise in there. Again, it looks like Rise, we did that on purpose. It's a familiar thing that people are used to, but the ending course that I showed at the end actually has nothing to do with Rise. It just happens to resemble it. Of course, if you use those content types or authoring systems like Rise or Articulate, you're able to, kind of work back and forth, but we're completely separate. There's no overlap there in terms of what the output of Smartcat would be. It's Smartcat specific.
Yeah. We know that, especially for those of you that are in the cockpit, you like to have familiar controls so you're not having to reorient yourself. That's a lot of the driver here, but yeah, everything you saw today was Smartcat. We have a question about pricing on here, and I don't know that Taras, where are we at with pricing? Is that something that we need to discuss more offline? I think that's typically as we run through the sales process, we unpack that, because we don't want to have just a blanket thing for everybody. We want to make sure it's tailored to everybody's use case. So there'll obviously be an opportunity, if you want to meet, we can dive a little bit deeper into that. So be excited we'll wait for your emails, texts, phone calls, and set up a meeting with you. Let's see. Okay, Penny has a clarification question about Rise. So with Rise users, Smartcat info would go directly into their Rise account, not ours. Is that correct?
I think we should dive deeper in the question. What case we're talking about? There are two use cases. First case, you have created the course as Rise. You want to just translate this course with a Smartcat AI translation engine, and then upload not the course, but the only translation into the Rise. Yeah, the flow is working like that. You have created the course as Rise. You have exporting some special file called XLIF file. You translating, and you uploading back to Rise, and you will have the second edition of the course on another language. This is the first flow, and here we're actually communicating with Rise. The second flow, you are creating the course in Smartcat. Maybe from some point of view it looks like Rise, but actually you're creating the course with Smartcat AI and you're exporting it to ULMS. No Rise is needed on this scenario. So Rise is needed only if you want to translate the course that you already have in Rise.
Great answer, Taras. Thank you.
Yeah. And I'm seeing my clock start to tick and wind down. Are there any last minute questions before we begin to land the plane for today's webinar? I'd like to offer it once, twice.
I saw one question in the chat, and I want to go back to it. There was a question about the cognitive diversity. I just want to clarify. I was talking about the thing that we called cultural diversity engine. So actually, this is the part of AI that help you to reshape the content that you created to the different segments. So I created the content. Oh, please reshape it to the 10 years old pupils, or please reshape it to 60 years old Texas housewives or teachers from Malaysia. When you created the idea topics and ideas one, and then just reshape it into the different people from different location. This is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about cultural and diversity engine. And we really think that it's crucial for enterprise to support these kind of things.
Yeah, and then I saw one more question in the Q&A is, can we do a trial version of this test? Yes, absolutely you can. We're gonna be able to give you that QR. You'll see it in a second to set up a meeting with us and some other people within Smartcat to really get a full deep dive into the course creator and try it out for yourself and make some content that's useful for you. So great question.
Yeah, we're not hiding anything. You can just go and try it and see how it's working.
Oh, and then we got some love from Matthew. He said, love this. Nice job developing the tool, explaining, demoing during the webinar today. Thank you, Matthew. It's our pleasure. We love doing this. And this is what we've been waiting for. Some of the next steps for you is we wanted to set up a complimentary AI training specifically for learning managers, instructional designers. And so the QR code is up here. It'll also be in the recording later if you need to grab a phone, but we wanted to set up a time where we could do a little bit more of a tailored deep dive into that AI training. So we'd love to see you there for that again. I'll leave this up for 1 second. And then we just want to thank you for spending your time with us. And there were a few questions in the chat. Will we have the recording? I know. I want to watch it back as well. Yes, we will be sending that to you afterwards so you can watch it back, share with your friends, and then we hope to see you at our next deep dive, the complimentary training for instructional designers and learning managers. But thanks again to our all-star panel cast here for guiding us through that, showing us a demo, and giving us a look really behind the curtains. So hold on, before we sign off, it looks like the link is maybe needing a little bit of love and attention. Here's the link in the chat. It may be easier to click there in case the QR code wasn't working. So we'll leave that up for a second. But yes, thank you again for joining us, for spending your time with us. We're here to serve you, and it's a pleasure getting to share some space and time with you all. So let me see if I can pull up the link page for you before we just completely sign off. Oh my goodness. 1 second. I just have to flip the share. And it should look just like this for you once you come on there. All right. Excellent. And with that, thank you, everyone. Appreciate your time. We'll look forward to catching you next time.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Tyler.
Thank you. Bye.